Good morning. What's up, everybody? It is 9:01 a.m. on Thursday, November 18th. I hope you're having a great morning. I'm so glad to be here with you. Got my coffee mug with my breakfast characters on it. I didn't realize the green. Yeah, the green on this is close enough that it's making my cup disappear. That's fun. All right. Well, hey, we're back for another episode of Mornings with Phil. That's still a working name. Maybe we will get a new name here in the future. I haven't decided yet. I got one good suggestion from my sister-in-law. It was the morning refill. Let me know what you guys think about that. It's kind of fun. But yeah, let's see. 9:02 a.m. Mountain Time. So if you're on the East Coast, that means that it's 11:02. And if you're on the West Coast, it's 8:02. Doing all the time zones for you. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the weather. Okay, it's chilly here in Denver, 25 degrees. When I woke up this morning, 16 degrees. Frosty. New York, quite a bit warmer, 58 degrees and sunny. Across the pond, 57 in London. Partly sunny, partly cloudy, however you want to think of that. And in Tokyo, looks like cool with a little fog or haze maybe. Interesting. And since for some reason my clock always misses LA on the West Coast, let's do some LA weather. Let's see what's going on out there. 54 degrees with fog. Interesting. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. High of 69, low of 52 in LA. So, as always, jealous of the LA folks out there. But let's dig into the news. Let's see what's going on. Top stories. Supporters continue push for clemency for Julius Jones as execution nears. Julius Jones is scheduled to be executed today. Whew. And Oklahoma's governor has still not decided if he will commute the death sentence. Grim. Not a huge fan of the death sentence myself. Florida curtails coronavirus mandates, reflecting wishes of vaccine skeptics. Okay. Governor Ron DeSantis expected to sign vaccine mandates ban into law. In Florida, they're going to ban mandates. Wow. Good morning, Johnny Day. How are you doing? Thanks for tuning in. If anybody notices what this sweater is from, shout it out in the chat. Christian Hall had hands up when Pennsylvania State Police shot him, video shows. And one of the largest ports in North America is experiencing big delays due to flooding in Pacific Northwest. So the supply chain issues are compounded even further, I see. Oh, yeah. There we go. Well, let's keep going. Those were the top stories. We'll dig into some stuff that's not quite so grim. Mario Kart's Live 2.0 update makes multiplayer much easier and cheaper. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit gets surprise Nintendo Switch content update. Let's take a look at this. This is a little bit lighter, something that I think would feel better if this site will let me look at their articles. So Mario Kart Live's 2.0 update. So I think this is referring to these little cars that are replacing the video game itself so you can drive them around. Very strange. Then leave it to Nintendo. Always got to up the ante on a video game. So Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, indeed, that's what it is. Nintendo's AR-powered Mario Kart game that lets you race physical toy karts around your home with the Nintendo Switch just got updated to version 2.0 with a much requested feature, split-screen local multiplayer. Yes, I mean, if you are a fan of Mario Kart, I think that's the experience most of us remember growing up, is that split screen, maybe even had the 4-screen. I definitely remember many days in the college dorm playing Mario Kart on split screen. That's interesting. Seems like it was a very essential update for a very non-essential item. Let's see what this is. Annoying snobs was part of the fun. says Paul McCartney and more on the Beatles' Rooftop farewell. So I'm guessing we're getting a lot of new news about the Beatles from the new documentary that came out on Disney Plus. Let's see about this. As Peter Jackson's TV series Get Back recast the Fab Four's final days in a more positive light, the ex-Beatle remembers their responses to their historic gig above the streets of London. Okay. Let's not read this whole thing. It's lunchtime on a cold Thursday in January 1969. After weeks of sometimes difficult rehearsals and recordings, the Beatles and their new songs finally and spectacularly collide with the outside world. The occasion is now fixed in their iconography. On 30 January, on the roof of 3 Savile Road, the London HQ of their company Apple, the four, joined by the U.S. keyboard player Billy Preston, performed 5 songs. I'm not going to read all of them. They played with a tightness and confidence that belied the last-minute nature of events, while a sense of urgency and drama was provided by 2 police officers determined to shut everything down. Yeah, I think we all kind of know about that. Let's see if we can find out what Paul had to say about him. When I asked Paul McCartney about these scenes, he mentions a sequence from the Beatles' first Beatles film, 1964's A Hard Day's Night. The four are portrayed confronting a bowler-hatted commuter who objects to sharing space with them in a train compartment. He responds to Ringo Starr blaring music from a radio with a line that back then was common currency. "I fought the war for your sort." There's always the guy in the bowler hat who hates what you're doing, says McCartney. He's never going to like it, and he thinks you're offending his sensibilities. But you've got to remember, as we always did, there's the people who work for that guy. Okay, fair enough. There's the young secretaries, the young guys in the office, or the tradesmen or the cleaners. Those are the people who like us. Also, a lot of the bosses, too. We always knew that there was the establishment, then there's the working people, and we were the working people. Working people tended to get us and understand what we were doing. And occasionally, you would get the kind of snob who would get angry. In a way, that was part of the fun. Okay, yeah. I appreciate that sentiment. I don't really often think of it that way when we're thinking about class struggles, that, yeah, we got to deal with these people up top that maybe ruffle our feathers a bit, and it is good to remember all the people that work for them. It's also a weird dichotomy there. Skelevin, welcome. Good morning. Have a little sip of my transparent coffee here. Excuse me. I usually get a cup in before we start all this, but it's been another interesting morning here. Goldie once again woke up at 6 a.m. coughing. I did the Late Night with Chill Neil stream last night, and usually on those nights it gets pretty late and saucy for me, so I oftentimes will sleep downstairs just to kind of avoid keeping everybody up with my snoring. So I did try to sleep upstairs last night, ended up snoring. I was back downstairs, woke up at like 6 because Goldie's coughing, and there's just not a lot you can do in that situation. You just get your day started. Hopefully she's feeling better. What's Skelevin say? Made a Persian love cake this morning. Wow, that sounds delicious. Well, tell us what that entails. I'd love to know what the ingredients for a Persian love cake are. All right, let's see what else is going on. This one is of particular interest to me. As a streamer, I use a program called OBS, and if you guys have ever done any streaming, then you're probably familiar with it too. This headline says, Internet turns against Streamlabs after copy-paste OBS apology and name change. Huh. I want to check this out. I did see a YouTube thumbnail last night that was saying, stop using OBS Streamlabs, and the guy was on the cover going like, yikes, or something like that. So I don't know what the story is about, so I'm actually kind of interested to see Streamlabs got slammed for its brief response after it was accused of plagiarizing competitors like OBS, Lightstream, Elgato, and others. This is a report from Dextero.com. And they are reporting, though the company responded to the OBS drama, people online noticed it was light on addressing the problem while opting into familiar style of company apologies in the past. Quote, I swear if StreamYards is going to come with that black background, white text company apology I'll just say bullshit on how they messed up, I'm going to be so done, Twitch streamer Reversal tweeted. Okay. The streamer was beside himself hours later when Streamlabs publicly acknowledged the debacle in a similar format that summed up the public outcry against the company that made it trend online on November 17th. And there it is. Laughing my ass off. I swear, yeah, there's the tweet. Okay, we apologize. And let's see, the company's apology didn't assuage people online that it was taking the necessary steps to rectify the situation. Nah, I'm out, popular streamer Jericho said. More people were sharing the same sentiment of dropping the popular software maker for an alternate program. Sucks that OBS had to go public before you guys listened, but now we are here, streamer WJackie101 said. You say that you take responsibility for your actions. Good. So this article doesn't really drill down for me on what the actual controversy is. I've never used StreamYard's OBS personally. I always found the OBS software that I'm using right now to be pretty good for my needs, and it's free. And it keeps getting better. It's open source. People are always improving it. I think that's amazing. All right, well, weird story. Let's take a look at some U.S. news. Biden fails to mention top fentanyl exporter China in comments on 100,000 U.S. drug overdoses. Let's take a look at the chat. Skeleven says, oh, okay, the ingredients for a Persian love cake are almond, lemon, rose, and cardamom. That sounds delicious. And he's also asking, Streamlabs is distinct from OBS, right? OBS is my preference. Yeah, Streamlabs is different from OBS. It's, these programs all kind of operate on the same principles and the same design, if you will. Streamlabs, OBS is extremely similar. It's a little more polished, if you will, in the UI, but I haven't used it a whole lot to speak of all the differences. I don't really know. But they are two different things that are named in a way that's extremely confusing. One is called OBS, one is called Streamlabs OBS. If anybody shares this, you'll see I use Streamlabs OBS to use an alert box. So if you share the stream, an alert will pop up. And that is because Streamlabs OBS has a lot of great widgets you can use to do things like share your alerts on the screen, new followers, stuff like that. So I do know that there's some great uses for that platform, but I haven't used it specifically as a streaming platform. Next up, conflicts mount on easing COVID-19 restrictions amid autumn case spikes. So I guess a lot of people are trying to talk about easing COVID-19 restrictions, whereas we're still seeing some spikes this time of year. It's winter, holidays are coming. It's definitely something we should take seriously. Let's see, what else? Say goodbye to swing districts. Lawmakers are drawing easy wins in dozens of states. Okay. It's not really a lot of not a lot of good news today. Let's see if we can scroll through the U.S. to some of our local news. Okay, this is kind of cool. So looking just in Arvada, I think it's locally pronounced Arvada, but for some reason I still can't get that. I always say Arvada, just like I say Colorado. I can't say Colorado. But let's take a look. Mural goes up in Arvada in tribute to slain Good Samaritan Johnny Hurley. Let's take a look and see where it's at. Rest in peace, Johnny. I don't know your story, but I hate that for you. In Colorado Springs. Okay, so this isn't that local to me. A Denver area artist recently created a large scale mural in tribute to slain Good Samaritan Johnny Hurley. Oh, okay, so this is relevant to me. There was an active shooter in Arvada recently, and I guess this was the person who helped in that situation. All right, let's see what this is about. Guitar lovers unite. Guitar, the instrument that rocked the world, comes to Denver Museum of Nature and Science. Okay, cool. I don't think I've actually ever been to that museum, although I did work about a block away from it for years and just never had the opportunity to go in there. But it looks like this is a new exhibit. This is reported from the Westward. Let's see if they'll let me look at this article. So far, so good. And the Westward magazine is reporting on this new exhibit. You can see there a top view of what looks like the main area foyer where they've got all these giant guitars. And for the past decade, guitar, the instrument that rocked the world, has introduced visitors to science, sound, history, and pop culture behind the world's most popular instrument. The exhibit, which will be at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science from November 19th through April 17th, will highlight a number of Colorado-based guitarists as part of its local run. Cool. The traveling show includes more than 60 instruments, exploring the cultural and physical history of the guitar while nodding to dedicated local players like trance bluesman Otis Taylor, Todd Park Moore, frontman for Big Head Todd and the Monsters, jazz guitarist Bill Frisell, who grew up in Denver, avant-garde guitarist Janet Felder, flamenco guitarist El Javi, and Miguel and Brenda Avina of bilingual psych rock band psych rock band Is Cali, I think is how that's pronounced. So if you're into guitars, which, I mean, let's be honest, I think everybody's into guitars at some point in their life. You can check that out in Denver right now. It sounds like it's a traveling exhibit, so I imagine it's out there in different cities as 2022 comes around. It reminds me of the Experience Museum in Seattle. I don't know if you guys have ever been to that one, but I did get to visit a friend there one time, and we went in, and it was pretty cool. They have this tornado of guitars. That's one thing I really remember. And then they have like a jam space where a lot of instruments are available, so you and the homies can go in there and play around a little bit. Good morning to everybody that's just joining us. Let's just do a quick sip of coffee. And let's check in. It is 9:19 a.m. Mountain Time for me, which puts us at 11:19 a.m. on the East Coast and 8:19 on the West Coast. Let's take another check of the weather real quick. Here we go. So like I was saying earlier, in Denver, it's tidbit nipply out there. 25 degrees, scattered clouds. In New York, 58 degrees and sunny. London, 57 and partly sunny. And in Tokyo, 51 degrees and cool tonight. And let's look back over at the weather in LA for our West Coasters. Here we go. 54 degrees. High of 69. Love it. I'd love to come visit. Maybe I'll hit up my buddy Turk, see if I can come see how he's doing. In business news, jobless claims little changed in potential sign that layoffs have hit a plateau. Unemployment claims dropped a fresh pandemic low. I don't know how to interpret that, you guys. I know I would love for people to be able to get back to work. It's been a weird couple of years. Macy's hires advisor to study separation of e-commerce business. Macy's shares surge on upbeat earnings. Decision to hire Alex Partners to review business. Okay. Paytm sinks on debut. Let me start over. I don't know what this is. Paytm sinks on debut as India's biggest IPO irks some investors. Paytm's Sharma goes from ineligible bachelor to billionaire. Seen a lot of that lately. And it looks like there's maybe something for the collectors out there. How to get your free how to get your free reusable holiday mug at Starbucks. I'm not going to read that, but if you guys are into those, if you're collectors, go check it out. We actually talked about this a little bit yesterday. iPhone is going to be having a new self-service repair program. It sounds like they're going to be selling parts directly to consumers, which is a pretty major pivot from their policies in the past. They usually, did not support repair of their devices in an obvious move to make us buy more of them. So when they break, you couldn't fix them. And I'm glad to say there's a lot of services and people that are out there fixing them, and you can buy the parts aftermarket. But now it seems like Apple is going to move in on this and start to do a little bit of the sales of the parts themselves. Warner Bros. Smash-style fighter pits Bugs Bunny against Arya Stark. Okay, we got to check this out. So it sounds like a lot of people have been trying to move into the Smash Brothers style, fighter games. There was a good one that just came out from Nintendo. This is an article from The Verge reporting on Warner Brothers' version of this game. It looks like it's called Multiversus. And I would play the video, but I don't have this browser set to play you guys any sound. So we're just going to go straight into the article and see what is in store. After numerous leaks hinted that a new fighting game with Warner Bros. Characters was in the works, Warner Bros. Games finally put the rumors to bed with the announcement of Multiversus. The announcement was a 3-minute trailer showing off a healthy chunk of gameplay, some of the initial roster of characters including Bugs Bunny, Steven Universe, and curiously Arya, a girl has no name, Stark. Multiversus is a free-to-play Smash Bros.-like game. Director Tony Hune says is focused on teamwork and social play. Characters are designed to be mixed and matched together with strengths that augment one another. In the video, you can see Steven Universe using his signature shield to protect his partner, while Wonder Woman whisks her partner out of danger with her lasso. Players can compete in 2 versus 2 cooperative battles, 4-player free-for-all, and on a ranked competitive ladder. Let's see, Jason's got his cup of coffee. He needs a new iBussy. Have you heard about the eBussy? It's a electric bus that VW is putting out apparently. But to end this story, it says Multiversus is scheduled for a release in 2022 on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. So, yet another game to put on your list, and we'll see. I feel like there's a Smash-style fight between these games at this point. That'd be interesting if you could make a game where the games are fighting each other. Let's see. In technology, the Moto G Power 2022 model is Motorola's first budget phone with a 90 hertz display. Okay. The best Google Pixel 6 Black Friday deal is already live at Best Buy. So for all you shoppers out there. Tech news is kind of wild to me. I don't keep up with any of that stuff, so to see these headlines is kind of wild. Let's take a look in the entertainment section here. Kourtney Kardashian gifts Travis Barker his dream car for his birthday. I wish somebody would gift me any car at all. That would be great. I could really use a car, but good for you, Travis. That's great. You and Kourtney seem to be getting along. Okay, this is a story from my hometown. Rest in peace, Young Dolph. Apparently there was a murder. Young Dolph was shot and died at the age of 36. That was yesterday. Sad news. Rest in peace. Second lawsuit against Alec Baldwin alleges film script didn't call for Gunn to be fired. That's strange. Rust script supervisor sues Alec Baldwin, alleging the film's screenplay never says he should have fired a gun. Hi there, Suzanne. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. So, yeah, we're really easing into that time of the year where the holidays start, and it's like holidays until 2022, basically. That's how that starts to feel. And last thing in entertainment, Adele has a lot of big feelings on 30. Okay, cool. In sports, Thursday night football odds spread. Patriots versus Falcons picks. NFL so headlines in sports don't really work, do they? I'll work on my sports coverage a little bit. This one is this might work. The Bills defense isn't just scary, it's legendary. Yeah. And moving on to science, longest partial lunar eclipse. We actually talked about that yesterday. If you guys didn't know, there's going to be a long lunar eclipse. I think it's going to be happening tonight into tomorrow. Pretty early in the morning for folks on the West Coast. We were talking about it's going to be like 2 to 3. On the East Coast around 11. So if you guys are interested in a lunar eclipse, should be coming up. You asked, we answered. NASA's new telescope and the search for clues about our universe explained. Let's take a look at that. Love NASA. Love any kind of astronomy related stuff. Does anybody have problems where you get astronomy and astrology mixed together? Used to have that problem. I think there's such a public disdain for astrology now, even if it's also beloved by many people. I feel like there's a little bit of stigma about astrology. So now I can remember which one is which thanks to that. The most powerful telescope, I should report this is from CNN World News, and the most powerful telescope ever built is scheduled to launch on December 18th. The James Webb Space Telescope will peer into the atmospheres of exoplanets, some of which are potentially habitable, and look deeper into the universe than we've ever been able to before. The mission has been decades in the making. The concept for the telescope was first imagined as a successor to Hubble in 1989, and construction began in 2004. Now, Webb, which is 100 times more powerful than the Hubble, is ready to launch. CNN asked readers what you want to know about the telescope and its missions. We sent those questions to the experts. Sarah Seeger, a planetary scientist and astrophysicist at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Matt Mountain, Webb's telescope scientist, and NASA's Stephanie Millam, the JWST Deputy Project Scientist for Planetary Science. Let's see. We'll just take a little skim of these questions. How much did the skeleton cost? How much did the telescope cost to make? Stephanie, to build, launch, and commission the Webb telescope, it costs NASA $8.8 billion. When you include operation costs, it brings the total bill to more than $9.66 billion. Whew. How long did it take the telescope? How long did it take to build the telescope? In the late 80s, Webb moved from an idea to a real mission concept. In 1996, there was a formal recommendation to build a space infrared telescope. So, wow. I mean, this has been decades in the making. In 2004, construction began and was completed in 2019 with the final assembly of the parts. Great work, you guys. I mean, huge undertaking. What are the telescope's main tasks? Matt says the most complex telescope ever built. So first, it must work. Okay. Second, we want to peer more deeply into parts of the universe we have never seen. We want to be able to look back in time and see how the first stars and galaxies came into existence. We want to see how stars are formed into molecular clouds. Then we want to explore nearby stars that have planets to see if we can find water on their surface. This is the first sign that there may be life there. And last question I'll do. How does the telescope work? It works by pointing the telescope at any object in space. Light is then reflected to the primary mirror, to the secondary into the instrument module when images and spectra, in parentheses, light waves, are collected. We then send that data down to Earth. Okay. Fascinating stuff. And let's take a look at some more science news if anything pops out. I've finished my coffee and it is 9:30 a.m. now, so we're going to be wrapping it up here, but we'll just take a look at any other stories. Launching soon, NASA's first asteroid deflection test. NASA's DART mission could help cancel an asteroid apocalypse. And landmark study gives unprecedented glimpse at mysterious phase of the human embryo. And in health, this is wild. Rare monkeypox case reported in Maryland. Rare contagious monkeypox virus appears in Maryland after patient returned from overseas travel. I see. And with a little cup of coffee sitting there on the thumbnail for this, it says, drinking these two things can lower your risk of stroke and dementia, new study finds. Drink these beverages to lower your risk of stroke and dementia. Let's take a look from mlive.com if we can cut to the chase, find out what these two are. People who drank several cups of coffee or tea per day over a 10 to 14 year period had the lowest risk for stroke and dementia. All right, I think that's a great way to end our news report for today, because I am empty and I need to get more coffee. Apparently, I need to hit the several cups of coffee number so that I can prevent my risk for stroke and dementia. And before we go, we'll do one more check of the weather. Let's go ahead and see how we're doing here across the world. In Denver, still frigid, 25 degrees and scattered clouds. New York, 58 degrees and sunny. London, partly sunny, 57 degrees. And in Tokyo, 51 and cool. And looking over on the East Coast again in Los Angeles, 55 and foggy. 69 degree high today. Very nice out there. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. It's been great to share a cup of coffee and some morning news with you. And then, Jason says coffee increases chances of taking large shits. That's true. I hope you all have a nice, healthy BM today. One of my favorite things about the morning coffee is it keeps me regular. If you guys are enjoying this, make sure you like Phil Buck on Facebook. You can also find my channel on YouTube. And I started a new Twitch channel. My Twitch handle is Phil C. Buck. And if you appreciate what I'm doing and you'd like to, send me a little tip, check out the Ko-Fi link up there in the top corner. I hope you have a great morning. Thanks for sharing your time with me. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Oh, wait, before I go, thanks for sending me Photoshops. I think Josh Boy, Babby Bramble, a few other folks sent in, Hannibal Lecter. I know that sounds like Hannibal Lecter, but it's my friend Hannah. She's got a funny alt name, and somebody else. But thank you guys for sending those Photoshops. Keep sending them in, and I'll put them in the intro. Until then, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.